Welcome to a very belated video review of Transformers Prime Voyager class Powerizer Ultra Magnus. Now this is one I was really looking forward to. Ordered this guy off of BBTS where he is in stock now. Changed the review environment. In case you haven't listened to the latest Primecast, I just recently moved. Changed locations. Have a new setup going on here, so hopefully it works out. Now, Ultra Magnus's vehicle mode here is actually a pretty good combination of what I would call a mix between the animated vehicle mode, as far as it being a military type vehicle, and the Robots in the Skies Ultra Magnus as it being kind of a flat nose truck. This is not really any type of vehicle in of itself, just a really neat hybrid. Now, the instructions actually have you doing something like this as far as having the weapon, but it doesn't plug in anywhere. And I tried as many ways as I could figure out to get this actually like stay in a decent position like this, but it just doesn't quite work out the way I wanted to, which is sad. But there's many different options you can plug in a main gun here. Looks kind of silly. You can plug in a missile here, or on the side there, or there's another little part right here. So several different options that you can have while displaying your Ultra Magnus in vehicle mode. For one, I would like it to be able to have it like this, but if someone could explain to me if there's something I'm doing wrong here. I've tried looking up, but I also just see a bunch of people confused about it. So that's kind of bad. So, but his missile is actually kind of modeled after G1 Ultra Magnus's missile, which is really cool. It rolls pretty solidly enough. I actually do not own the Commander class Cyberverse vehicle figure. But from what I've heard, that this is basically an upscaled version of that, very similar features and transformation, and I can definitely see that in some aspects of this. Smokestacks here aren't painted, which is kind of a bummer. The red roof here just feels very out of place. I guess they just thought it was too much balloon, just put a big red blob there. Looks real nice, though. Just a little bit on the generic side as far as design goes. It definitely doesn't beat the leader class animated Ultra Magnus as far as vehicle mode goes. That one is really hard to beat. But yeah, still looks real nice, just not a whole lot going on. Just really the biggest downfall is not really having a place to store the weapon. Now, transformation for this guy is real simple, as it being just basically an upscaled version of the Commander class one. It's very simple. Just gonna wiggle everything loose here, wiggle, and the arms will come off to the side here. Extend out the legs. I'll go ahead and split them there. And you pretty much already see the whole robot there. Split out the arms. Take the hood here, and this will kind of scoot on down and flip up the grill. Flip out the hand. This little piece will fold up and fold in the front section of the truck. The same thing. Got a really kind of neat shoulder swivel going on there also. Fold out the feet. This actually kind of takes a little bit of the transformation from the Dark of the Moon Voyager class Ironhide, where the kind of sides of the truck wrap around the thighs. Not thighs, but the lower part of the legs. Like so. And there is Ultra Magnus's robot mode. Is very, very awesome to look at, but it does have some major flaws. But it does, as far as design wise, for a non-show character so far, it does invoke some very not cliche, but typical Prime designs, as far as not having a nose, a very stern face, some of the angular movie-ish designs, while looking very sleek and lean, especially in the chest, where it actually has kind of a movie Optimus Prime design, where it has the side doors swing out to form the chest, which is really nice. The whole chest piece is actually looks very nice, and the Autobot symbol just is the icing on top of the cake there. As far as articulation goes, this is where the figure kind of falls short. The head is on a very emotive ball joint here, but the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems, is the shoulders, because they just look so weird. You can definitely tell that this was a design that was carried over from the Commander class figure, because this just looks so cheap. And the way that this swivels here, while clever, it just not very effective in the long run. And it doesn't allow for very much movement. That's about as far out to the side as it can get. You can do something like that if you really want. Yeah, but it can go out all the way around. But because of that, Kenji can, pat himself on the back if he so chooses. Elbows, yeah, nothing much going on there. Just can't even really not even form a 90-degree angle there. His wrist is also on the ball joint, but because of this piece folding up over it, it is extremely limited. So that's really a bummer there. It does have a waist joint, surprisingly enough. It does have also a ball jointed hip, swivel thigh, fairly standard knee, collapses all the way to the back of the thigh, so it's not bad. And a little bit of foot articulation, but it doesn't really mount to everything. Another really annoying part about the figure is that because of how the legs work and how his feet are always at an angle, not an angle, but you can't really turn them side to side. You can't stand them straight without having his feet perfectly flat, unless, I mean, it's close, but see that especially there, the side of his foot is lifting up, and it's just kind of teetering on that one now. So posing is a little hit or miss there. You can also take the missile. You can either put it in his hand, which looks kind of silly, or do what I like to do and stick it in his forearm there. Now, best part about the figure is his powerizer gun. Now, I've pretty much bashed these before in the past, especially the ones came with Optimus Prime, the powerizer one. But this one does something that they all should have done. I mean, it's two different unique weapons. It's an assault rifle, converts into a battle hammer, which is something that I guess Ultra Magnus is fond of since animated. But one thing that this has over all the other ones, when you can convert it over, it has a clip right here. That is a little bit tricky, but it'll stay locked in the hammer position, which is what all of them should have had. So you can either have him holding his gun as a come on, hold it. as a powerful looking assault rifle. I actually have a good amount of trouble getting him to hold his weapon in both hammer and gun mode. And his gun is super heavy, and his ball joint is so weak that he cannot hold it. But I mean, you can have him hold his gun like that. I was going to get to that in a minute, but I failed at demonstrating how he could actually hold his gun. I mean, this gun's huge, and the ball joint is, I mean, it's not loose, but I mean, you can hold by itself, but it just barely does so. Or if you're feeling ballsy, you can well, you can, no, you can't do it there either. Thought you could actually do a midway lock there for a second. You can have him hold it as a giant battle hammer. Now, this is a case where I think I would prefer the Arms Micron version, because the hammer looks a little bit better. Looks a little bit more, not necessarily a show model because he's not in a show, but more like the Commander class's hammer, where it just looks more like a standard hammer, not this giant behemoth gun hammer. But you can maybe get him some, like, you know, holding over his shoulder like that. But if you have him, the hammer deployed, the green LED is constantly glowing. Ultra Magnus is a very mixed bag figure. If you're not too familiar with the whole mythology of Transformers, and not didn't grow up with G1 as far, and with Ultra Magnus from the movie and all the different incarnations, and just jumping into Prime, not knowing who like past Ultra Magnuses were, I would say go ahead and skip this figure, because it's alright at best. It definitely has some glaring problems that needed to be solved, but it is kind of a fun figure, especially how the weapon works, and the weapon that can actually store on his back, which I forgot to mention, which is also really cool. The design, the robot mode looks really intimidating, especially just that real stern look he has in his green filled eyes. I can only really recommend to people more towards a die-hard Transformer fan, the people that are really into Ultra Magnus as a character, not just getting it just because, if that makes any sense. So if you want it, get it. It's okay. It's probably one of the it's not as bad as Bulkhead, but it's not nearly as good as, say, Dreadwing, or even probably, I'd say it's about on par with the Voyager class Starscream figure. Alright, until next time, thank you for watching.